Hello class, welcome. This is Professor Brooks. Let's go ahead and focus on your week 2 assignment. What I want you to do is get open your Visual Studio, your V or C++ IDE environment. And what you're going to do is you're going to go to Appendix B and you're going to copy your source code. Okay, so I'm just going to go over and copy this. Okay, I'm going to bring up my Visual Studio. And I'm going to say File, New Project. Okay, so this is going to come up. Let's do an empty, let's see, do I want to do a CLR? Nope, let's just do an empty project. Okay, and let's go ahead and I'll put in here week 2 live lecture. Okay. And I'm going to say, okay, now this is very important because this right here lists out the location of where all your files are that make up the project for this assignment. So I'm going to, for when you submit your assignment, you're going to need to zip up this projects folder here. You're going to go underneath in Explorer. You'll find this full path. Okay, and underneath your Visual Studio 2010, you'll have a projects folder. You're going to zip that up. You'll right click on it and say send to and go through that compression option where you zip up your work. Okay, and underneath the projects folder you're going to have this folder here, week 2 live lecture, or whatever the name of your program name is that you put right here. Okay, and you've got create a directory for solution. That's what you're actually going to zip up this folder. Okay, alright, so I'm going to say okay. Alright, now also I want to make note that you will basically be a couple things. You're going to you need to make sure that you have Service Pack 1 installed, otherwise you could have issues. Now a lot of times you may open up your software and it's all empty and you can't figure out anything. Just remember to go to View, Other Windows, and you may need your Properties box up, okay, which is over here. You may or may not. Let's see if I can drag that over. You may or may not need your properties box. It depends if you're going to write a program using forms. In this case, we're not. So I'm going to say you need to have your Solutions Explorer up. You can move it wherever you like to move it. I'm kind of used to having it on the right side, so I'm going to leave it there. For a source file, for your program file, you're going to say Add. You're going to say New Item. You're going to say your C++ form, and you're going to call this the same thing as your folder, live lecture example, okay, or whatever the name of your program is. Okay, and you'll get this, and now you'll see here that you'll get live lecture example CPP. Okay, that's your source code file. Then you've got your header folders, your resource files, on and so forth. The only thing you need to be concerned with is underneath your source files folder, you should have a live lecture example file here. Okay, and so what you're going to do is you're just going to let me move this on over a little bit. Hold on 1 second here. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to move it way over here on this side. I'm going to change it up a little bit, and I'm going to go up here to Edit, and I'm going to paste my code in here. Okay. There's lots of errors in this program. There's actually a logical error in there as well. But what I want you to get familiar with is fixing the syntax issues. Now your pound includes, what I want you to do is make sure you read up on these. Very important for when you start programming, you need to know what these do. So make sure you read up on that. I'm not going to read to you, but I want you to leverage your book to your advantage and go out there, and I'm going to be asking questions about this tomorrow in the discussion area. Okay? But this is your source code. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is start compiling your program. So let's go ahead and do that. But before you do that, you want to build your solution. Okay, that goes out there and it attempts to compile, it links, and then it attempts to execute your program. Okay, in this case, there's tons of errors in there. So here you've got it says that it failed. Okay. So the first thing you're going to start looking at are these red squigglies, because that tells you that there are compile issues. Now what I like to do is after I build is I go in here and I just hit this green button to start debugging, or you can hit F5. Okay. Now first, it's telling you that there's something majorly wrong with line 1. This window down here, your output window, is critical because it tells you where your program is having problems at line 1. And keep in mind, when you fix one area, you may have to, it may cause other errors. Let's see, IOStream. Now let me go ahead and recompile that. Okay, now look what happened. My window got bigger. Okay, now I've got multiple errors down here. So you start at the top and work your way down. At line 8, it's saying that it's missing a semicolon. So I'm going to go to line 8. You're probably going, well, how do I know where line 8 is? Okay, well, let me move this down a little bit. My recording window, I need to move it down a little bit. Okay, bottom right-hand corner over here, it's got the line number, the column number. These two right here are very important. You don't need to know that, the CH option there, but the line and the column you do. Mainly your line, okay, for right now. So your line 18 is where my cursor is. It's right there, but you need to go to line 8 because that's where your program error is, right? So at line 8, you just click around until you watch your, so at line 8, and of course that's where all the squigglies are. So there's something over here that it doesn't like. So again, you're just going to sit over here and you're going to try to find all these errors. And you can see here, it'll take you a little bit to get familiar with this, but there's a blank space right there. You see that? A blank space. So what you're going to do is you're going to delete it. Okay? And watch what happens. It caused those to go away. Now, every time you fix something, what I want you to do is start recompile. Get used to recompiling after you fix something. Remember, it was a line 8. Now we're at line 18. So line 18, another semicolon issue. So let's find line 18. Okay, almost there, right there. See where it says line 18? Where's my cursor? And it's saying something about sin. Okay. Now remember, just because it gives you the line number, you don't have to necessarily expect that there's an error here. Because in this case, it's actually the line before. It's missing a semicolon, right? So learning how to program is first learning how to solve your syntax issues. Once you solve those, then you can get to logical types of issues and understanding logical programming. Okay? But here I want you to get familiar with understanding syntax. So I added that semicolon. Let me recompile again. Okay? And let's see what happened. All right, now we're at line 20. Well, looky here. I'm going to keep going. Let's find line 20. It's probably right. No, it's up a little higher. Right there. Line 20. And you can see here that it's a couple things. Again, I'm missing another semicolon, right? And I need another semicolon there. Okay, and looking over here. So again, make sure you save your work. See, I hit save. I usually hit the save all there, so it saves all the files associated with your project. Okay, you can see, let's see what the new update is. Okay, now we're at line 27, and we've got an undeclared. All right, so here, you'll come over here. And so now, you can see, now I'm going to go ahead and help you out with this other error too, because you may not catch it at first. It says here line 27. Okay, so let's go to line 27. 27 is right here. Okay, so line 27, overtime underscore pay is undefined. So you want to go up here and overtime underscore pay. So what you need to do is look and see how it should be defined. You can see it's declared without an underscore. So you're going to put an underscore there. Originally, I deleted, it was a blank space, and I did this, okay? It looked like that, but instead of it being just a blank there, it needs an underscore, okay? And you can see how that error went away. The next one, this is the one that I thought may get you, it's a little, I don't want you to think it's tricky, but let's see where let me recompile and get to that point. Okay, you see your errors are dwindling down. We're at line 30, and line 30 is probably right there. It's actually not there. It's right there. There's your line 30. You can see where a comment is 2 forward slashes. Okay, and look what happens when I did that. You see it all went green. Okay, another way of commenting is you can say / asterisk, and you see how everything went green. But if you only want to do a block comment, you would close it off with an asterisk / okay, so that's the two options for commenting. Now again, always do a save all. You want to keep your project saved and then execute your or compile your program, or hit F5, either one. So we're getting down to the bottom of your program. A lot of these errors are going to be now see, now it's really griping about some stuff on line 34. Okay, now you really got to pay attention. Programming is about learning syntax. Okay, so line 34 is telling you, and it's trying to tell you, that it does not understand the operators associated with what you're trying to do. And so at line 34, this right here, your cout statement represents operators, and you can see when you do cout, they're backwards. Okay, so let me fix that. Okay, notice the squiggly lines went away, so I'm going to save it and compile it again. Let's see. Okay, now we're at line 35. So again, play around with this. You can see that's a syntax issue right there as well. And there's a lot of little issues through here, but I want you to execute. When you get to where you're executing the program, and I'm going to stop here because I want you to finish out the program. You're going to see when you execute this, there's a logical error here. Okay. Once you enter the name, the hours worked, and the hourly wage, I want you to check out this if statement and see if it's logical. Okay, so logically, I want you to think about it. Think about, if my hours are less than 40, what should I be doing? What should I be calculating? Right? So think about that. That's important, and very important part of this assignment. But I want you to learn the syntax. Don't get frustrated. If you get stuck, don't hesitate to give me a call, and you'll be just fine. And I'll probably send out another video on exactly how to zip up your work and submit it. All right? Thank you for your time, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.